dibawa oleh One Life Ecology and Management by the Jurunding Jabatan Alam Sekitar Malaysia dan merupakan founding members of Malaysian Collaborative Network for Innovation Iconic Halal Supply Chain 2021-2022. Dan pada hari ini Dr. Jayaraj akan memberi taklimat dan juga briefing training mengenai modul 3 yang bertajuk Social Business Model dan Proposal. Dan modul 3 ini merupakan salah satu requirement bagi projek Certified Social Entrepreneurial Innovator Program di mana mentor dan juga pelajar yang telah menyertai modul 1, modul 2 perlu melengkapkan business proposal mengikut template yang telah disediakan. Jadi tanpa membuang masa, saya serahkan slot ini kepada Dr. Jaya dan jika sebarang soalan ataupun pertanyaan boleh direct kat chat box atau boleh personally WhatsApp saya untuk saya refer ke Dr. Jaya. Dan kita tengok kita dah ada Profesor Madya TS Dr. Nick Zulkarnain iaitu Ketua Grant bagi projek ini. Terima kasih kerana sudi meluangkan masa Dr. Nick. Kita boleh proceed ke Dr. Jaya, Dr. Nick?
Okey, terima kasih Aisyah. So untuk program pagi ni kita fokus kepada beberapa perkara lah untuk dikongsi dalam bengkel yang akan disampaikan oleh Dr. Jayaraj. Dan saya ucapkan tahniah dan syabas kepada penganjur dan juga peserta yang menyertai bengkel kita pada kali ini. Okey, Miss Aisyah, silakan.
Okey, terima kasih. Okay, the floor is yours, Dr. Jaya.
Salam sejahtera to everybody. It's a very nice morning. Actually, today we were forced to wake up at 7 a.m. for a meeting with our outgoing TNCPI. So, yeah, Dr. Boon is here. I saw he's also among the people yang menghadiri meeting tu. So, it's it's one of the rare cases where you work with a very good leader, very forward-looking and, forward-thinking and, innovative leader. And, it's sad that we are losing someone. Hopefully the new replacement is as good as he is or better. So we always pray for the best. So many of you will actually wonder why am I here in, talking about business proposals, whereas I'm actually a zoologist. So essentially, I actually don't have any experience writing a proper business proposal, but I have in the past actually assisted quite a number of people getting funds for their social enterprises. And some of the formulas or tricks and methods that I have done actually allowed them to get good funding lah. So one of the things, whatever we want to do is always about funding. If we don't have funds, we can't move anything. So you will later explore see what's happening in the world of social enterprises in our country. So let me tell you a story about how I started in doing something of very near to social enterprises. As a zoologist, we always find ways to bring in more research funding and more conservation efforts. So one of the avenues that I was observing since 2015 was the role of NGOs in providing bringing in more funds and running more projects. And from there, when I explored, what I found was that there are actually the world of NGOs is actually very big. So, and then there was a transition at one point of time. Many NGOs actually moved into social entrepreneurship. So they have their own social enterprises. Some NGOs, they at the front, they are labeled as an NGO, but they actually behave like a social enterprise. So from there, we started working with a group of young individuals. So these individuals were very energetic and maybe Baba. Yes, Miss Baba, you may I know what you ask? You have a question? You raised your hand, right? So if you have any question, you just raise your hand. So I will try to address as much as possible.
No, sorry, doctor. I accidentally pressed.
No issue, no issue. So we met this young group of individuals, and they were actually planning to set up their own NGO. Um, so from there, I found the opportunity to actually train them on how to write proposals, and they were quite successful. I think this year, 2021, was their breakthrough year. They get quite a number of funds. And also, they are also starting off with their own donation drives and everything. So you can see a lot of NGOs actually behave like social enterprises. So start off with the story lah. Normally we start off with a story. So let's see. I go and start my presentation. So I don't have to introduce what is happening because you already you guys already know who I am. I was already introduced. So instead of that, let's look at some of the basic concepts now. So what is a social enterprise? So these are some of the terms that we found in the internet, and you can see it's actually a business. We highlight the word business there because you are actually handling a business. So you must. And if it's a business, there must be cash transaction happening, money moving around. So we know that it is a business, and the objective when you run a business, there are many objectives that most of it is for you to to earn money and expand your business. But in social enterprise, the objective is always to solve social, economic, and environmental issues affecting humanity. So it's always revolve around these concepts. So give you 3 examples here of some of the social enterprises that exist in the world. So remember, you are running a business, but your objective is trying to solve social, economic, and environmental issues. And these 3 themes are always present in a lot of these social enterprises. And because of this, so there's also a lot of opportunities available for many things to happen, including training and whatever that we have here. So how do you define a social enterprise? So this is one of the terms we get, is a form of business. You have a business, you strike a balance between social objective and financial goal. That means you must be able to be financially viable. You can't run a social enterprise without being financially viable. So if that is not happening, then you are not running a proper social enterprise. So your social enterprise can provide the poorer populations with access to funds, goods, and services. And why do they need that? Because most of the time they do not have access to this kind of opportunities. So in Malaysia, okay, this is the definition that is found in which reference? The Social Enterprise Accreditation punya definition is actually a business entity registered under any written law in Malaysia that proactively creates positive social or environmental impact in a way that is financially sustainable. So you must be a registered business entity. Okay, you must be a registered business entity. Okay. And there is accreditation for it currently. There is an accreditation. So once you get the accreditation, you have many benefits that you don't have if you are running a normal business. So that's the advantage. So why you run a social enterprise, there are advantages for you. So let's look at one of the examples. Let's say it's a bad bumi here. Metal bumi here is actually a fair trade collection. So they actually sell traditional art forms. So their products are actually arts and crafts lah. So they go to very poor Indian villages. They look at their products and then they collect and they start selling it. So essentially, normally those stuff are actually jewelry, home decor and unique gifts. So the product is based from natural or upscale materials. Okay, so they source this material from socially and environmentally responsible manner. So essentially, they go to very poor villages. They actually started off their project when they were traveling in India. So Manisha actually joined Mathrubhumi when they saw the project that they are having. So they empower 20,000 artisans in 40 partner communities in India since their founding in 2006. So they go to poorer areas with many of those arts and crafts products, and they try to sell it online, and then they actually give back to the community from their products. So essentially, as I said, they have a social objective there, and they are helping the communities. So in Malaysia, we have one here, community Tukang Jahit. So what they do is that they go to the woman. They go to women in the household, and they try to help these women earn side income. So why they are targeting women? Because they have single women, single moms. They are essentially situated at homes because of their family commitment. So they find full-time jobs or part-time jobs. And they find projects for them to sew, and so that they can sell their products and earn income. So you can see there is a social objective there. There's always a social objective in social enterprises. And then Goodwill is actually quite popular, and they have a very unique way of running their social enterprise. So they actually hire people looking into getting a better job. So they allow job seekers to earn paycheck while they build their essentials. Essentially, they give training. Okay. They also hire people to do their work, and also they have retail operations. That means they have a store in many states in the US. So what they do, these people will Goodwill will actually collect donations, and also collect donations in the form of money or used materials, and they sell in their Goodwill stores. And this revenue, the income generated from these operations, they will fund the training and also the hiring of these people that they do in the first two descriptions here. So essentially, they have three things running, but they are actually each of them supporting each other, but with at the end a social dia punya direction to actually help job seekers. So training and also give jobs. So normally when you go to their website, if you want to donate, there are categories. You can donate clothing, electronics, furniture, and housewares. So when you donate something, example, if you donate a pair of jeans, there's actually a calculation there that you can actually, they indicate that how much you give back to the community and how much you can use for your tax returns. So you can use it as a tax deduction punya incentive. So this is how Goodwill run. So you can see that why this thing can operate, because there is also a government support in this matter. So government actually supports social enterprises in many countries. Okay. So, but then what's the difference between social enterprise and NGO or non-profit organization? So what are the main differences? Is if you look at in Malaysia, actually, it's where they register actually. In Malaysia, it's how you register the entity. If you are an NGO, you register under ROS, Register of Societies. So once you are registered under ROS, then you are a NGO or NPO. Okay. So, but if you register this as a business entity, then you are a social enterprise. So, but then there are NGOs and NPOs that actually have a NGO. They register there as an ROS, but in the same time also they also have set up their operations via SSM. So they are actually an social enterprise because they register in SSM, and they also have ROS. So, but then when the reporting, there is any requirement to properly, we say, separate their operating expenditure. So because there is different requirements for ROS and SSM. So one thing that normally there is the biggest challenge there for them when they register both entities, then their donations, management of donations. So for social enterprise, of course, you are allowed to collect donations. Okay, if you are registered and as a social enterprise. So and that means you must have accreditation lah. Okay. So for NGOs, then you need a 2-year, a 2-year audit, okay, of your accounts, and then you are eligible to actually apply for tax relief. So anybody that give you a donation, you can give them a receipt, and that receipt is actually tax deductible. Okay. So I won't go. If you want to know what are the NGOs that have registered and have tax deduction, you can go to this website. I will give the slides, so you guys can actually just click, and the links are all working. You can click and go directly to the website. So you can know which NGOs are actually having a tax relief. So just now when we're talking about social enterprise and as having a social objectives, and nowadays when you look at social objectives, a lot of it is actually tied into the sustainable development goals by the United Nations. So there are 17 sustainable development goals. And if you are a social enterprise and your project, okay, you are able to tie in or fit into these criteria, which is normally you are definitely able to do so. It's just that where to search and how to do it. That is the biggest question mark in many of the people who are trying to set up their own social enterprise. I will, give some idea later. There is a session on that section. So why we want to, tie into the sustainable development goals? It's not compulsory, but there are a lot of funding opportunities available. Okay, and the good thing about setting up a social enterprise is, and the main difference is that if you're a social enterprise, you actually can find a lot of assistance available. Unlike starting your own business where your funding money is, if you go to a bank, it's going to be hard for you to get a loan if you're starting a business. But there are funding available for setting up social enterprises. So later we will have some section on this. Some time we're going to spend on this, discussing on this. So why do I say there's money? The richest people in the world always donate their money, their earnings for social justice, social causes. And this is where you can see if you are a social enterprise and your idea is innovative, or you have a invention or something that can help certain causes, there will definitely be people who are willing to fund your project. Okay, it's whether you know how to approach people, are you able to do so, and are you able to convince people to fund your project. So let's look at the famous people. Here you see Jeff Bezos here. Okay, he donated 10 billion to Earth Fund, okay, for combating climate change. Okay, so meaning there is money for climate change, which also part of one of the SDG goal. And then you look at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they donate a lot of money. Actually, when we look at here, they have actually funded Ashoka here. Ashoka brings social innovation and entrepreneurship to agriculture, to sub-Saharan Africa and India. Okay, so previously I always, when I hear about Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is normally about for health. They know in the beginning they always fund projects related to health. Now you can see they are expanding. They're expanding to agriculture, which also tie into zero hunger, and poverty. So you can see that there are always people who are actually trying to give back to the community. So it's whether you are able to tap into that funding here. So where do we find grants? I just did a quick browse into the internet, and this is the list I was able to find. So this is just a 5-minute search, and we are able to find the list. You see, we have Asia Foundation, who's also one of the drivers in the country. They are drivers for social enterprise. There's a list of social enterprise drivers, and Asia is part of the list. So they have funded startups to start their own company and run their social enterprise. So they raise money here and there, and there is training. There is a lot of assistance for social enterprises. So these are among the list. If you want to see the list, you can look at this one. This link here: 40 social enterprise grants for your consideration. Meaning you can apply. So those who finish our module today and you want to find money, okay, just go to the link, just click there and try to apply any of the grants here. The more you apply, and the more you apply, the better you become. Most of the time you don't get to secure funding at the early stages of your project, but it all just takes practice. So, and then at the end you may secure some funding. We actually have people in UMK who actually lecturers who manage to actually secure funding for their social enterprises. So when I mentioned Ashoka just now, so you see Ashoka, which is actually based in India, the project managed to get funding for India and Sub-Sahara. Now, they are also based in Malaysia. So meaning you can actually apply Ashoka grant here. So there are a lot of NGO, what we say, foundations and NGOs that are willing to fund your projects. So where does social enterprise sit in our national agenda? It is actually a national agenda. You have the national entrepreneurship policy here. It is actually stated in the national entrepreneurship policy 2030. Okay, there is a strategy. There's several trusts here. Specifically, strategic trust number 3, stimulating holistic and integrated entrepreneurship development. Strategy C3 is actually to promote social entrepreneurship. So meaning there is MEDAC here. MEDAC actually do support social entrepreneurship. So actually this project, okay, also is supported by the government. Our current training here is actually supported by the government. So there is an agenda, at the national level, there is social entrepreneurship is part of the national agenda. Okay. So they also have their definition, and when you look at their definition, 51 of their workforce must consist of the underprivileged. These are some of the criteria how they categorize any entity as social enterprise. So so these are the criteria. 51% of their workforce must consist of underprivileged. 35% of their business cost goes towards providing income, training, product subsidy or services to the underprivileged. 35% of the raw materials or production sources goes towards achieving environmental goals, or 51% of the profit should be allocated towards achieving social or environmental goals. So these are the criteria. So later when you look at the accreditation punya criteria, these are also mentioned again. So if you're able to fulfill that, then you will get the accreditation. So who are the local drivers? Okay, so I found this in a survey done by the British Council. British Council in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, did a survey. So basically this 2015 did a survey on social entrepreneurship, and they came out with the list of people or organization that are driving the social entrepreneurship in the country. So when you look here, the first one is Asia Foundation. So they are actually been there. Asia have been there, supporting a social entrepreneurship. So the other one, Magic is also there. There's also some of the ones that we always hear from Magic. Magic is always there. There is a Social Enterprise Academy. So these are the places where they have incubators, accelerators, and support programs. So meaning there are training programs provided by them. There are also people who, that if they want to, people who have ideas, they want to, they want to have assistance on their ideas. So these foundations and these companies actually have a running system where they can teach you, they can incubate your ideas from starting to the point where you are viable. So you can approach them. So the others include impact investors. So these are the impact investors that they are listed here. And luckily, UMK is listed. Although UMK is listed, but I am unsure where is the Social Entrepreneurship Center is. So maybe there was an idea, but it's there was a launching, but nothing happened. So I don't know. Maybe Garrick may actually take this up and continue in the future. So let's hope for the best lah. Okay. So you can see here there are quite a number of private universities actually involved. For example, Sunway iLabs here is actually one of the drivers, impact investors. Then you have Monash. Okay, so and then you have UiTM here also have their own social innovation support unit. This was the reference in 2015. I know UTP also have their own social innovation center, if I'm not mistaken. They also have it. So these are the people, the local drivers, and they are the ones they are actually assisting. So definitely they are always approachable. So essentially, I actually wanted to have a 5-minute break, but maybe we start off with any question and answers that you may want to ask from the beginning section of what I presented just now. If there is no questions, I can continue. So okay, so MEDAC actually came out with a guideline. Okay, so on how to on a guideline for social enterprise accreditation, and this document is, and the content of this document, the content of what I'm presenting is directly extracted from their document. So why we want a social enterprise accreditation. Then once you have this accreditation, that means your entity, your business is essentially recognized as a social enterprise. If you don't get this social accreditation, that means you may operate like a social enterprise, but you don't get the benefits of a social enterprise. So that's why we highly encourage those that are already viable enough to go and register, okay, get the accreditation. So the social enterprise accreditation intends to certify the status of social enterprise. So with this accreditation, they have greater your company has greater support and opportunities. So through this accreditation process, your company is accredited, and you will be listed in the MED online platform. So there's an online platform. Your company will be listed there. That means if anybody wants to know any companies or any social enterprise that are accredited, for maybe they want to run a program with them, or they want to give some donations, or any company who wants to disperse their CSR funds, you will be the first to to be listed there. Okay, so that's why there's an advantage getting accreditation. So these are the main criteria. Okay, there are 3 main criteria. Okay, your company must proactively create positive social or environmental impact. So meaning you must have a clearly stated social or environmental goal. So this is where you need to draft. Okay. So if you are able to, and it must be clear. So if you are talking about empowering women through what? Better job opportunity. So your organization goal must state that clearly lah. Okay. So if you're focusing on women and you're helping them with job opportunities, then that must be clearly stated. Okay. So your social enterprise must also contribute significant resource to the social or environmental mission, meaning there is a percent. Essentially, you need to state the percentage of your contribution, okay, to your social goal or environmental mission. And the last criteria, which is financially sustainable. So this has been repeated many times because later I will explain why. But you must have more than half of your total revenue earned, okay, by selling goods or services to customers. So meaning you're not supposed to depend on just donations to run your company. So it's very different from US. US is a different definition, but in Malaysia, more than 50% of your revenue must come from business activities, not via donations. Okay. So if you are starting, because for startups there is what we say accreditation for startups. Okay, so of course for startups that would not be possible. Okay, having a 50% of your total annual revenue earned is via goods and services. That may not be possible, but at least you must have a plan or a credible plan to work towards this revenue model. So at least when you are developing your business proposal, you must have this plan that you can get into this more than half of your revenue is actually coming from some goods and services. So the criteria, so these are the criteria you must meet. So just now I actually mentioned this criteria already. 51% workforce from beneficiary groups. 35% is channeled of the business cost is channeled towards providing income or training. 35% of the production raw material is spent on achieving environmental mission, or 51% of the profit is distributed towards solving social mission. So any of these criteria you are able to fit, you can meet. You can apply for social enterprise accreditation. So in the guideline, they actually mention clearly okay, that accreditation, what's the benefit from accreditation. There is also more listed later. I can show you. So essentially you will get listed in a public directory. So here, why the listing is good, is beneficial because you can find potential customers. You can be included in the Buy for Impact campaign. Okay, there is a campaign called Buy for Impact. You also get access to other funds. Over time, MED. Previously it was MED, now it's MEDEC. Okay, MED and other support agencies will provide a range of additional support. So for accredited social enterprise. So there are their own conditions you have to meet. Okay, so just like many NGOs, there is a network of social enterprises. So in that network, you can join the events, networking, and other opportunities. You are able to collaborate with them. You are able to learn it from them. A lot of these social enterprises are actually based in KL and Klang Valley. But then there are some that are distributed over the other states. We also have some in Kelantan. So definitely networking is important. They are able to assist in many ways. So there are 3 stages. Okay, you can fit into any of the 3 stages. Excuse me. Oh, okay, you can fit into any of them. Let me just silent my phone. Okay, so there are 3 stages. We say for social accreditation application. So of course, the most basic one, I think most of us are eligible to apply for basic social enterprise. Okay, so I wouldn't delve in the details, but there are 3 stages now. So you are able to apply via an online platform. The online platform is actually down currently. I tried to go into it and try to click around. I'm always like that. I'm just going in and see what is it all about. So, but it's not available. So I don't know. Maybe they are down for a while, but they will be back lah. But that's the first stage. It's just application through an online platform. The second one, you have documents you need to submit. So each stages have their own benefit lah. Okay, so stage 2, you have a document you need to submit. Okay, and the committee will evaluate within 30 working days. And then the stage 3 is social accreditation plus, which you apply to the Ministry of Finance and IRB, Inland Revenue Board. Ni jabatan ni hasil lah. Your tax, where you pay your tax and everything, because you can get tax exemption actually. So the stage 3, once you go through stage 3, you can actually have certain tax exemption and also give certain things back to people who donate to you. So for the benefits, when you look at here, so for basic social enterprise, donors who contribute to cash are not eligible. But then you are deemed as a registered social enterprise lah. Okay, so basic SE may apply for next accreditation process. So in the next accreditation process, which is stage 2, grants you eligibility to be considered by MOF to provide tax deduction receipts. But you consider you are not yet able to do so. Once you get stage 3, then you are able. Your receipt is when you give to anybody, when they give you a donation, you give them the receipt. They can use that receipt for tax deduction. Hence, this is where you once you get your stage 3 accreditation, first thing you have to go is go to the corporate donors and start approaching them. So of course, different corporate companies have their own targeted social enterprises or activities that they want to fund. So it's a learning and practicing stage. So you need to go approach them, and you can get fundings here and there. So this is the same NGO that I am an advisor. So Malayan Rainforestation is actually an NGO based in Merapu. So currently they are registered under our ROS, but we are also looking at the opportunity to look at social entrepreneurship as one angle. So once we get our accreditation, that is the path we are going to corporate donors. So corporate donors may assist in certain things that is not able to be achieved via donations. Sometimes donations can get you funding, but not everybody wants to give money. So and especially during times of hardship like now. So there are other means of you can collect donations. So your third accreditation, your SE Social Enterprise Accreditation Plus allows you to issue those receipts. So when you look at like our current system, you can that means you can get, because everybody that pays income tax can actually have deductions under their donation section. So you can actually approach people. So a lot of NGOs actually get donations because of this tax deductible practice. So I'm actually at the stage where I'm supposed to teach you how to go to the Writeup. So we actually have a template. I think Aisha, later we can give the template later, but I will show you the main contents in the template here. If we revise back on what we have done previously in the module 1 and module 2, you are at least able to prepare a business model canvas. So the business model canvas is essentially your guide to actually prepare a proposal for funding. So the proposal for funding, it can be for many objectives. It can be a business proposal, meaning you are preparing a business proposal to go to a bank to raise some funds for your project, for your business. It can also be what we say a grant. You can use it as a guideline to prepare a grant. I've used the same template and same idea to actually get funding for certain projects via as a grant. Okay, so this is a general guideline. Okay, so we are going to go for proposal preparation. So this is also the requirement for module 3. So before we start, we may have a 5-minute break, and then if you have questions, we can ask. So I also need a break to charge my earphone. Stop sharing for a while. If you have questions, you may ask, and then I will address. For now, we have a 5-minute break. We will resume back at 11:05. Okay. I also need to charge my earphone sekejap. Okay, thank you. Okay, we are back. Okay, we are back online. So, since no question, so maybe if you have any questions later, you can directly WhatsApp me or something lah. Some of you have my number. Aisha, you can share my number to them. Essentially, the 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 write-up is actually a learning process. It's from the beginning when you start, it will always be not that easy lah, because anything that is good, anything that's worth working for, when you start, is always not easy. So there are always various challenges that you will face, but as long as you're willing to put time into it, then normally it will work out lah. So for your write up, I also actually started off banging a lot of walls, and not getting the right idea, and then we so many things lah. There are more failures compared to success in my story lah, essentially. But we learn via every step of every stages of failures that we face. Every challenges we face, every failures we face, we learn from it. So, and then we try not to repeat, we improve from it. So for myself, essentially, although you do see me a lot of time in Facebook, people announcing this and that, but they don't see the failure rates lah, actually. So but whatever that I'm sharing today is the shortcut lah to some of the things that we want to avoid lah, so that you don't make the same mistakes lah. Okay, so let's continue with our lecture. Why is everybody messaging me today? Okay, so because yesterday the ICD announced that I have my my first patent. So we managed to file our patent. So this project was since 2000. It's since 2014. So it took many years to to get something done. So it's only last year that I managed to know the trick of how to file a patent. So when we got to know the trick, then we just proceed lah with whatever that we can do. And we so today a bit busy, people messaging me about my product. So yeah, so we come back to our module 3, business. We are trying to prepare a business template proposal. Somebody message. Okay. Okay. Cik Siti Aisyah, I saw your apa cerita? You are muted. Okay, nothing pula. Okay, never mind. Okay, I will continue. So, this is a general. Yes.
Tak, saya baru nak tanya sebab ada staff tanya, tapi Dr. Jayaraj nak start dengan template. Because soalan dia tanya, adakah kita akan diberi training cara untuk nak mengisi template. So, itulah baru nak tanya Dr. Jayaraj nak start dengan your slides.
I think this section that I'm sharing is essentially guideline lah, general guideline on how to issue the template lah. Okay, so Aisha, later you have to give them the template, so that they
yes, we will email them the template.
Okay, you can also give them via the Telegram group and the WhatsApp group that we have lah, so that they can direct access to it lah. We have Isha who kindly prepared the template. So we made some changes to his template also. So the template was based on his experience and also my experience and also Aisha's experience lah, preparing proposals here and there. So this is essentially a general guideline. So it's no way what we say fixed. Whatever that you learn today, okay, for proposal preparation is guideline for you to know how to start. But then you can see actually in different organizations, their templates essentially differ. They have different templates, but the overall content requirement is very much similar. Okay, so definitely the the knowledge that you gain here will be able to help you in the write up of the business proposal template. I would say this is more to a project. We can say this is a project proposal template lah. Okay, so the authors are listed below here. So we are thankful that Prof Nick being the anchor, she has been the backbone and anchor for many of the what we say social entrepreneurship projects in UMK. So during her tenure as this pengarah kanan for UMK EI. So even for this project also, she was the key factor allowing us to secure these funds. So definitely we are thankful to have her in UMK. So as I said, this is a general guideline. You must always be flexible and adaptive to other organization punya needs, especially for the write-up. And similarly, in any proposal that you write, research grant, business proposal, you must be adaptive. The key point to being adaptive is knowing what the customer want or knowing what the funder want, and you understand that how, and you must be able to find a way to fit. You have your objective, your project objective, or your main goal objective that you want to achieve, must be able to also fit to what they want. So you can't write something that you say short sendiri. That means you write something what you want to do, but then does not meet to their criteria. Then you are just wasting your time writing a proposal that people that do not want to fund. Okay, so understanding the funders' requirement is very much important, and that is the mistake done by many researchers and social entrepreneurs in securing funds. They don't understand the funders' requirements or the funders' what we say aspirations, or the funders' interest. What kind of things that they are funding. So when I speak to my team, or when we form a team to write any grants or any proposals or any projects that we want to start off, when we talk about funding, we always go and look at the funders' requirement and also what are the projects that they have funded before. So these are the practices that help us to understand how to secure more funding outside of the country, outside of your organization. So we do have individuals that have been very successful in securing such funds. For example, Dr. Csei here, also Prof tadi aku nampak Professor tu. She's also integral to many of the funding that secured for UMK. So they have a good experience, and I am also sharing what I have previously. So, and I think the idea is very mutual. Is the thing is that we know what that organization wants, and we also design our projects to suit their needs, in the same time trying to achieve what our goals are. Okay, so achieving your goal is important, but you must also know the needs and the requirements of the funding organization. So of course, in any business proposal or any social enterprises, this is the basic requirements. You must register your company. So when you are registering your company, you must have a SSM registration number. For UMK students, they are a bit lucky because We have SSU. Most of our our students have enrolled in this program, have an SSU registration number. Okay, and then you must list out your company members, which is your team. And then for SSU, normally you should have a mentor. So I'm lucky I have two groups of students that I'm enrolled as a mentor. And then all lecturers that are involved in this project are actually mentors to their student team. And company logo. So company logo is one of an important factor lah. It's not compulsory, but it's good to have a company logo. Why? Because that's the most recognizable entity that people want to recognize your company. So when you look at the company, there's many companies logos here. So these are some of the logos that I extracted from some of the reports. So all of them have their own logo. So every time when you talk about for example, see My Chankol here is a very famous company, My Chankol. They have their logo there. People remember. If they know about My Chankol, they will remember this logo. UCSF is a private. It's a state government university in Sabah. So I know them. I have a friend who's working there. Some of our prominent professors that retired from Unimas also working there. So yeah. So these are some of the logos. Also, logos are important is because it can capture the attention of people also. So most proposals require you to write an executive summary. Okay, but what are the contents of an executive summary? Normally we come and draft the executive summary at the end of the proposal writing. Once you have done writing your whole proposal, then you draft your executive summary. If you are drafting this in the beginning, you will find yourself making a lot of changes, okay, over the time, because as you are writing your proposal, you can see that there is certain things that may not fit to the original idea and you need to make changes. So that's why drafting an executive summary is always best done at the last process lah. Okay, so but then it's good to know the content of the executive summary. So these are most of the contents that we try to fit in, but a lot of executive summary have a limit into number of words. Most of the time it's a 300 word limit, 500 word limit, or a 1000 word limit. Rarely 1000 word limit, because that is the first thing that the funders will read, okay, to decide whether they want to proceed or not. So meaning whatever that you write in your proposal, okay, this is the muka depan. This is considered your cover. Okay, so most of the time we hear don't judge the book by its cover, but the problem is this is the common situation that people face, because when there is an announcement of a grant or proposal or funding, when there's an announcement for funding, there will be a lot of proposals being submitted. Most of the time they talk in more than 50 of proposals they receive. So I had 1 year submitted a grant, for in the industry grant. The call was just for 25,000 ringgit, 25,000 ringgit, but they get more than 200 proposals. So you see, it's very competitive when you ask for funds, whether it's business funds or anything. It's very competitive. So meaning your first page, your cover, your executive cover summary here is your cover, must be very catchy to actually get them to be interested. Okay, so most executive summary outline must state the problem. Okay, so in the problem is what is the important problem you are solving, okay, or what opportunity you are trying to address. So this one must be stated clearly, okay. And the problem that you state, okay, the solution that the next section is the solution. How are you going to solve this problem? Okay, must tally with the problem that you state. I think even for research grant, it's the same thing. Okay, if these two don't connect, then something is not right. Okay, in a business proposal, you must state who are your customers and how will you make money. Okay, that one clear lah. If you don't state your customers, then how are you going to bring in convince people that your business is a viable business. Okay, if it's a product, if you are a product based business, then you must state your product. What is your product? If it's a technology based, what is the technology? Okay, what makes it special? Okay, and then what is your marketing strategy? Okay, and then who are your competitors? You have to state that, because this is where how people evaluate your proposal. They want to know whether you know enough about this business to actually proceed with it, and whether it's worth for them to invest in you and also your company. Most of the time when they look at it, they are based on this this executive summary. So we can say the executive summary is your written pitch. Okay, normally when we hear pitching is you are verbally trying to express your company, but in executive summary essentially it's your pitching, but it is a written form. Okay, so you also if you are able to fit in, then you should talk about your financial analysis and projections. Okay, most of the time we project 3 to 5 years. If you are unable to project in this kind of numbers, then you should be able to do so, because that's how they see whether your project is viable or not. Okay, so team, who is your team member, why are they there, what are their role, so all must be clearly stated. And your roadmap, if you're able to fit in, okay, you should state where are you, your company, what are the major immediate milestones. These are things that you you can fit in, but not necessarily. Okay, you need to fit in. It depends on how much words that you have. So yeah, so let's go to the next section. So executive summary. So this is how you outline, but as I said previously, you draft this at the end of your proposal rather than you start with this, because this is where when you finish drafting your whole proposal, you have the bigger picture. This is where you can tell people what is your company is all about. So 300 words, very short, not a lot. If you just verbally state 300 words, it may even finish less than 1 minute. But yeah, so you have to draft this in a very strategic manner. Okay, so in the social accreditation, social enterprise accreditation guideline, there are these guidelines that they state here. So some of the things that they state here help you to actually draft your proposal in such a way that you can that means if you're able to draft it this way, that means you can get you are actually one step ahead, because you are drafting something that allows you to obtain your social accreditation, but also helps you to be more clearer. The guidelines state here is actually very clear and assist you in this drafting of your social enterprise punya proposal. So your social enterprise must create positive and social and environmental impact. So the goal must be clearly visible on the organization website or its company constitution. So if you have a website, okay, for social entrepreneurship punya punya accreditation. If you have a website, then you must take this in your website or in your company constitution. So just now you say mesin jahit, if you look at mesin jahit punya website, they have it clearly stated. Okay, so that's why they can get the accreditation. So the social environmental goal does not need to be the organization's main goal. Your main goal can differ, but it is acceptable, okay, that you are chasing this as your main aim. Okay, so but this must be clearly stated, your social environmental goal. So ideally it should specify positive or social impact. Okay. And what is a positive or social impact? Okay, it is a specific change. For example, our target here is to improve the well-being of low-income single mothers. So very clearly state, okay, improve, okay, well-being of low-income single mothers. So they have a targeted group, single mother, okay. So they are targeting single mothers. They are improving the well-being of these low-income single mothers. So if the single mother is having high income, that individual does not fit into the criteria. So, and this is the same criteria when you write any business proposal or project proposal. You have to state that very clearly, because then the funder, okay, knows what you want. It's also the same thing when somebody want to give donation. They look at it, because you see, everybody, when you do social enterprise, okay, you are actually capturing not just you are capturing emotions, you are capturing what criteria or what emotions that connect to that person. For example, a person will get more funding from people who connect to nature if he's an environmentalist. So if his social impact goal is an environmental impact goal, if he's trying to save certain animal, okay, that person, that organization will be able to get funding from people who are connected to that cause. So it is an emotion that is involved, okay? So you must know. So you are actually looking at the emotions, and this is where they, you have to clearly state this so that people can connect to that idea. So if you write something, for example, the most common stated group that we always see in a lot of proposals, even when because I'm also one of the grant reviewer for certain organization, some of it even at the ministry level. So they like to spell out the word B40 group, which is one of the income bracket. We have a B40 income bracket. A lot of them state B40 income bracket. They elevate the education of B40. For example, elevating the income, elevating the let's see, reducing hunger incidents in the B40 group. So that is an example of their impact on the target that they are trying to reduce hunger on the B40 group. But because they use the B40 group is a big group. You have single mothers, you have urban poor, you have rural people, you have orang asli, you have marginalized group. You have to be very specific, okay? And this is where many proposals fail to connect with people, okay? So if you are targeting the people, for example, community that is marginalized, for example, urban poor is one of the marginalized groups. Okay, there are a lot of incidents of malnourishment in this urban poor people. So they are in the B40 income group. So you must be very specific. If not, the funder will wonder, okay, who are they targeting? Okay. So specific target is important. But for social social accreditation, you may not need to exactly specify the exact change. You can, you can also provide support for certain group. Okay, for example, low income household here. So there are also some social enterprise that actually act as a voice for ethnic or minority group. For example, the company may actually fund the lawyer fees for orang asli who is facing a lot of court cases for their land. So these are some of the causes that you can work on. Okay, so for the criteria, as long as you fit this criteria, then you can apply for the social accreditation. So the social accreditation is open to organizations both for Malaysian and foreign citizens, either inside or outside Malaysia. Okay, so it is also open to organizations that not only provide direct support to target group, but instead work at the system level. So you may work with work at a larger project. Okay, so providing supports to charities or other social enterprises. So you can get the accreditation even though you are actually working to support other organizations. So for social enterprises, who are the targeted? Look at this. Who are benefiting? So these are the ones that people are helping. So local community are the ones that most focus. They So your funding, who are going to benefit if you are earning? So who do you donate? So these are the breakdowns of what social enterprises actually fund. So most of them normally they fund local communities. So sometimes they also fund the employees because one of the criteria you can actually, if you are hiring the poor or certain groups of people, that is counted as your, the so-called benefit that you're giving. So employees of your organization also can benefit from it. So there are also women. So you see, these are among the groups that are helped the most. And you look at it down the list is migrant workers. So of course you can see there is an emotional attachment. So there are people that are more certain people get more benefit because it's all based on emotion. People get connected to to these groups of people, and they get more funding compared to the others. Okay, so second last is animal and environment, the group that I am working on. So we get very little funding. So maybe that's why you see a lot of environmentalists as conservationists. They really need material, they need content. So, and that's where they always target. So if you are working at the on a conservation of certain organism, you can see that these organizations that work on this kind of organism, they will actually make videos, create a lot of awareness campaigns to actually encourage people to donate, because not a lot of people connect to animals, and though the animals that are that receive the most funding are those more animatic animals compared to other organisms. There are more people that are donating to tigers, elephants, you know, dolphins, and these animated animals compared to a rodent that is endangered. Nobody is going to donate to a flying squirrel. Maybe flying squirrel, after they know more, then people will start donating. But for now, not much people have actually seen a flying squirrel. So I work on flying squirrel projects, so I'm raising this point. So flying squirrels, you only see them at night, and most of the time, because you need a torchlight to see them, and you must have some experience. Then you're able to view the animal. then because people don't know the animal, they don't have an emotional connection to the animal. So at MRS, we had to produce pictures. We had to take pictures. My team had to, learn how to take night photography, night tele photography, which is a major challenge. Right? If you ask any photographers, this is a challenge. And, so we had to dig up old folklores. You look at the orang kampung. Sometimes they talk about the Pontianak jumping from one tree to another. Sometimes I really wonder whether these are actually flying squirrels, because if you walk at night without a torchlight, and certain flying squirrels, for example, the red giant flying squirrel is a bit larger, and it glides. It is actually found in many kampungs and many forested areas. So when it glide past, some people may assume that there's something like a hantu or jembalang, gliding past, and they thought, oh, this is a hantu, and they get scared. But it's actually a flying squirrel. So awareness campaigns is also important. So when you're running your social enterprise, you must also have an awareness campaign put in place. So the idea is that people must know what you are trying to work on, and that's where you get the funding. If people don't know about your organization, you don't have a campaign in place, it's very, very hard to get support. Okay? It's not only the support from the people who are donating. The support from people that you are trying to help is also important. So you may want to run a project, but if the people that you are trying to help don't support your cause, your project is likely to fail. So it's a very what we say, when you say wakil rakyat turun padang. If you talk about turun padang, actually the social enterprises are the ones that really turun padang. They are there, they are in the field with the people, okay, assisting them. So if you are not the turun padang type of person, very hard to actually run a social enterprise. So there's one thing you need to learn and adapt. Okay, so that's why I say when you're doing social enterprise, you need to be very innovative, learning and adapting. Even writing proposal, running your projects. Okay. Ada soalan?
Doktor, nak tanya, beneficiary tu adakah only underprivileged sahaja? Ataupun kita boleh juga dia punya beneficiary tu siapa-siapa yang kita rasa sesuai?
Okay. It's like this. If you are running a social enterprise, okay, it always goes back to the cause. Okay, so the beneficiary is who are you targeting? Why are you targeting? Okay, it does not necessarily have to be the underprivileged. You can be in the M40 income group. Okay, you're trying to help the M40, but the cause and the objective must be very clearly stated. Then only you can get support. But of course, different, if you're targeting different groups of people, you can see from our previous slide, different group of people get more attention than the others. But not necessarily to mean to say nobody is going to, nobody is unwilling to help them. It's just that how you convince the funders or the people who are donating to fund your project. Okay, so as I said, it's always goes back to your ability to pitch the idea. Okay, so pitching is an important factor. So I can even show you later in the last section as well why is that important. So your executive summary is one form of written pitch. Your verbal pitch is also another form. Okay, so it all depends who you want to help. Okay, and how you want to help, and it's not necessarily must be a person. It can be an environment. It can also be a condition. Okay, so it all. For example, we talk about mental health. Although we see the M40 is a privileged group, not considered privileged, a better condition group in terms of financial standing, but they may be the ones that have very high what we say, work pressure, okay, because they are in the between. They don't get as much assistance from the government in terms of financial assistance, but they also, the facing a lot of what we say, work pressure because of their position. Their income bracket actually puts them in a position where they have to do a lot of things, and the work pressure may actually affect their mental health. If you're working on mental health and you're targeting M40 and you have a very good reason why you're targeting this group, you can actually get funding. But as I said, it always depends on your cause and how you convince people to support your cause. Okay. So So there's another section in the proposal called social innovation. Okay, I would suggest you to tie this to your SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, because it's easier. It's easier there. Okay, so for your social innovation here, okay, you can describe your, for 2.1 here in the form is a section where you need to fill in. It's actually the innovation description. You can describe your social innovation or social business idea. Okay, so essentially, how, for example, there were people who were talking about, like just now the metal boomer here. They what they do, they go to the poor people with have very artistic punya qualities. They produce these crafts and materials for sale. Okay, they sell it internationally. They're not selling in India, they're selling in international market, and their business is coming from everywhere. So, and very exclusive. So they have materials that are made very exclusive. So with that means anything that's exclusive gets a good price lah. Okay. So this is where we can target. So and then they are trying to reduce poverty. So the SDG goal is actually working towards poverty. Okay. So you can in 2.2 you can describe your model, okay, based on your creativity. So your innovation description, okay, you can later translate it into a model, okay. And then in 2.3 you state the SDG you are going to cover, okay. So I will tell you how to actually at least describe this. So because in our previous exercise, you were supposed to state your SDG, but many people did not. I think they understand the SDG, but they don't understand how to state it. So I will teach you how to state it. So, and then you have your vision and mission. So what's the vision and mission of your company? Okay, and your target group lah. Okay. So let's see.
Sorry untuk ganggu. Nak tanya sir, yang untuk sebab ini mission dan target group, dia suppose dalam marketing plan untuk target customer dan for itu vision, mission dan objective sepatutnya dalam organization plan, dan adakah dia boleh kena ini social information saya masih dalam keadaan yang sangat blur, itu sepatutnya kena mau letak chapter 2 atau masih dalam keadaan chapter 1? Sorry untuk ganggu.
No, this is section 2.0 already. Later when you have a look at the proposal template, then you understand. But then when you write a vision, a mission, or target group in any sections of your proposal, you will still have to repeat it, because it's good to repeat in certain times in any sections of the proposal to actually keep on reminding the people who are reading your proposal that this is what you are trying to do. If you just state it in the beginning and you don't repeat it anyway in the middle of your proposal, in any sections of your proposal, then people may need to flip back. So when they need to flip back, that means you're taking a gamble, meaning you're taking a gamble. Either they flip or they don't flip. If they are hardworking and they have the time, they will flip back to the first page. But if they are reading 200 proposal, then you know that the chances of them flipping back is going to be hard. So restating the vision and mission and your target group in any sections of the proposal is not to say prohibited. You are allowed to do so. It's good to do so, but what we say, buatlah berpada-pada. Jangan sampai, you know, in every paragraph you have the same thing. So we call in Chinese they say tinggi cap sang lah. You should know lah. You should pandai-pandai lah. Okay, where you should know where and when to restate your vision and mission. So for example, in methodology, you restate it because you know that's how you remind people you are actually targeting the group. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. It's I think the current kita jaga kita punya slogan is most suited, okay, to describe social enterprises. So you are actually you know, you have a social call, social justice call, and you assist in any ways as possible. That's why you see there are certain celebrities, they have their own cause. Some celebrities are more vocal than the others. Some celebrities are braver than the others. They were a point of time when a situation where people were not too happy with refugees and migrants. And we have some celebrities, even beauty queens coming out and being very brave and, you know, stating their, you know, their projects of working towards helping migrant workers, and they receive backlash, but their cause, they are true to their cause and they are still working towards it. This is where, that's why I say the what we say the matlamat the cause itself, if it's a noble cause, people will support. So this is where you need to you need to know that if it's a noble cause, remember that people will support, but you just need to find the supporter. Okay, people don't support blindly, you must remember. Okay, so you must find the supporter. So in media, you actually you can see, you always see, you have Maya Karin, who's very into environmental issues. You have, if not mistaken, Sarima Ibrahim, Sarima Ibrahim, who's in mental health. There's a lot of people. Okay, you have Leonardo DiCaprio, who's also environmental. He actually donated to a Sabah organization quite a sum of money, you know. So you see, there's a lot of people who have, you know, who put, you know, their social cause, which you can tap in, and but then your own call must be genuine, must have a, you know, it must be genuine and ikhlas lah, okay, not to find money to enrich your pockets, which I do know there are people who do so, but let's put away the negative, we talk about the positive lah, okay. So look at community Tukang Jahe, they are helping the B40 women, very specifically women, because we know these are the groups of the whenever there is a crisis, economic crisis, you know, like now, pandemic, actually women are the most impacted, because women are essentially the backbone of a household. Okay, the men are maybe the ones that are going to, you know, go out and find a job, but most of the time women are the backbone. So you see a lot of causes sprung up, macam cendawan tumbuh lepas hujan, that go towards helping a woman. Okay. So how do you select a SDG that fit your cause? First, you have to see, I describe viewers, you see many teams made the mistake in selecting the right SDG for their cause, because many companies have more than their operation in such a way that they have more than one SDG that they can cover. Okay. So, but then it can be a main SDG or a secondary SDG. Okay. So the way is you need to evaluate your company and see, okay, what SDG that your company focuses on. Okay, so for this exercise, I will show you some demo lah. Okay, some basic demo. Okay, so to actually know which SDG you want to target, you must first go to the internet, to the website. So there is a specific SDG website, okay, set up by the UN. So you just click. So the link is here. The slide you can have it. So link is here. You click the link, we will go to the internet web page. Okay. So give me a few minutes. Okay, so there are 17 SDGs here, except for goal number 17. Goal number 17 meaning you have more, how you connect more than one SDG towards your goal number 17. So we look at, for example, poverty here. So this is the first SDG. So Sustainable Development Goal. Very famous goal because this is one thing that really connects to human emotion. You can just use very simple basic explanation. Never allow somebody to go to sleep with an empty stomach. With just that simple explanation, simple verse, you can connect to people. You can connect to people. Okay. So and this is where you get the people to actually, support your cause. But what are the goals? Okay, so what are the contents of the goals? So we go to SDG goal number 1 here. Okay, so SDG goal number 1, end poverty. Okay, so end poverty. So poverty eradication. Okay, so there's a description. Is COVID-19 led to first rise in extreme poverty. So even before COVID-19, this was a problem. Okay, poverty was a problem. Now we are seeing an increase in extreme poverty. So because of COVID-19, so we are not saying that, we are saying that, and this is a global problem. So global problem, there's a global cause. A lot of people are involved, meaning you have more people to work with, more people to help, and more support. Okay, so these are some of the key graphics that they put, which you can use to actually, tell your funders this is what's happening. And then you can get some statistic in the country, talk about the Malaysia punya context, or the groups that you are talking about. Okay, why they are ni. So and then you can have the target. Okay, so these are the targets that they have. So they have many targets here. So when you click at each target, for example, by 2030, eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere. Currently measured as people living on less than $1.25. Okay, $1 a quarter a day. So maksudnya hidup dengan RM4, hidup dengan RM5. Kalau convert from USD, RM5 sehari. Okay, who can survive with RM5 a day? But there are people, they are surviving in RM5 a day. Okay, so very specific target. You see, very specific target. So the indicators, okay. So their proportion, okay, of population below the international poverty line. So you have a poverty line, and then you have people, what group of people that you can So there are indicators, so you work on the indicators. Okay, so there are targets and indicators. You also have progress. You read up the progress. And then your project, for example, you are targeting to reduce, extreme poverty, okay. In Kelantan previously, Kelantan has always been labelled as one of the states that have extreme poverty. We are second behind Sabah, if I'm not mistaken, okay. Because people are living at RM5 a day. Okay, RM5 a day. So when you design your project, essentially you can design in such a way, okay, we are going to work with the extreme poverty people, You can actually specify, for example, orang asli are among the people that are in the extreme poverty group. If you want to be more specific, you can actually talk which tribe you are working with. And the location. So because when you're talking about specific locations, then you can get more funding, specific people to fund your projects. Okay. So, and what is the mechanism? You need to design a mechanism, and that mechanism should be working lah. For example, when you talk about living at below 1.25 ringgit a day, how you increase their income? Okay, very very different. If you're working with orang asli, there are many ways. For example, if you're teaching them how to raise their own chickens, grow their own vegetable, you are actually not addressing their lower income status. You are addressing their hunger status, okay, by nutrition. So there's another SDG target. So, but if you're talking about income, then you're going to be very specific. You are trying to raise their income to be above the 5 ringgit a day punya income. So this is where you can look at the target, very specific, so that later when you want to fit into any fundings, international, especially international funding, they will go towards this. They will need you to specify this target. So let's go back to our lecture. Okay, so very clearly, you have an SDG goal, you have the target and the indicators that you can work with, and then you can design your project towards this kind of indicators. So hopefully this will help you in this designing your SDG and choosing and designing your SDG. Okay. UMK is also part of go to the global impact ranking. We also enter into the global impact ranking punya practice. So we are also in the impact ranking punya practice, and we are measured for our contribution to the SDG goal. That's why last year we had the exercise, and we were announced this year. We did quite well actually. So very thankful to our Vice Chancellor Dato' Vice Chancellor and TNCPI for taking this very major step. This is actually a very brave step took by our top management to actually go and it's not just a competition. People look this as a competition, but this is actually not a competition. This is a measurement, an indicator of where is our university what are we doing to actually help a global cause. So don't just look this as a competition. We are looking at our effort, how we are focusing our efforts to solve world problem. Okay, so this is where we have to know the objective of whatever that we are doing. Okay, so even for our current project, this project, we are also trying to work on helping in SDG goals. So although it's not clearly stated, but you can see that there is a lot of outcome that can happen that assist in SDG goals. So your participation, your proposals that you prepared, that if it's good, you get funding, actually helps to solve global problems. So do look this as a noble cause. Okay, so SDG, the global impact ranking itself is a good cause. Another section in the proposal is IP property, intellectual property. So this is important, where you are using certain technology or certain processes that you need intellectual property protection. Okay, so you don't just steal the idea and use it for their own benefit. Okay, so an idea that can an invention or an idea that can be used to help people should be used to help people. If somebody is profiteering from it, it should at least get your green light from it first. To actually ensure that happens, you need intellectual property protection. Okay, so many people congratulated me for our IP recently. I think some of our members are also, I think Prof. Raza Suzana here. Yeah, just now. Prof. Raja Suzana also one of the few people who secure a lot of international funding. So this is where you see you have to identify people that can mentor you. Okay, even lecturers also need mentors. Okay, not only we mentor our students, we also need mentors. And my mentor come from all walks of life. Whoever who can teach me anything that is beneficial, who I can use in the future in terms of the knowledge, I regard them as my mentors. Okay, so IP itself, there are people who are actually, very good at IP filing. So if you ask around, you can get to know some of them. Okay. If not mistaken, Dr. Teo from FBKT among the people that I know have a lot of IP, which is good, good for UMK, good for the university organization also. But why we in this section, why we put here just so that the reason is that to ensure that your ideas don't get stolen. There are people who have malice, very naughty in their behavior. They like to steal other people's idea. I personally is one of the, you can't say victim, because it's like, the first time when it happened to me, I was like, okay, I was very pissed off. But then later, then I got to know, okay, this is common. So, but then we can protect ourselves. Okay, so we can protect ourselves. So there are two ways you can protect yourself. One is you can copyright your idea, copyright your project, okay, or patent. Okay, sorry, not two or three. You can send a patent. So patent essentially for inventions, for processes that you discover. You can patent those processes. Okay, especially in the lab or any if you're extracting any compound, and this compound is beneficial to the extraction of the compound itself cannot be filed for protection, but the process to extract the compound or to produce the compound can be protected. Also, your company logo, you can trademark your company logo, but this involves, I was told, this involves funding. When you file, you need to pay for it. But for trademark, is a significant amount. Similarly, for copyright, so for patent, is once you granted the patent, you need to pay annually to protect the patent. Okay, we have people who actually patented their vaccine and released and give it freely to the world without profiteering a single cent. So that's why I say he did not need to actually patent his vaccine, but he do it to ensure that people are not profiteering from it. But he's giving it out for free. So you see, IP is an essential tool. Okay, because some people will abuse, okay, the kindness that you give. Okay, so anytime you want to reveal any content of the IP before it is granted, you need to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Okay, for example, if it's granted or it's filed already, there's no problem. But before it is granted, there's a risk. In Malaysia, if you are filing for an IP, you go to my IPO. So I can click the website here. You can click the link. Okay, it's here. Okay, so my IPO, this is the place you file for IPs. UMK annually since the ascension of Prof. Arham as the TNCPI, we have several cycles of workshops, preparing IPs, patents and copyrights. So even my own patent was actually the outcome of the IPO workshop. So do spend time to attend this workshops if you have an idea or an innovation that you want to patent. So dah pergi. Okay, so as I said, I repeat again, patents, copyrights and trademarks are filed and because are filed to actually have some form of legal protection. So if people infringe your IP, then you can file. Okay. So it's not necessarily the bigger companies have their own IP, you will lose. No, it means that it always look at who filed first and is there what we say a similarity. Okay. So in what they claim, okay, the claims must enter lah, kena masuk lah. Okay, kalau the what they claim is different from what you file, then there's no legal basis for it lah. Okay. So the other criteria that the Social Innovation Social Enterprise Accreditation states is contribute significant resource to the social or environmental mission. Okay, so you must state lah. Okay, what are the positive and social and environmental benefit that you are doing. Okay, if it's the way you state it is in such a way is that if you are earning 100 ringgit, how many going to your cost, or you are hiring 50% of your workforce towards your cost. Okay, so it all depends on how you fit to the 4 criteria that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so as a general rule, social enterprise will allocate at least 51% of their profit directly towards their social and environmental goal. You can also institutionalize hiring policies, preferential hiring policies. For example, your company or your branch of your company, okay, will take in 51% of certain target groups. Example, people with Down syndrome. Okay, you will hire people with 51% of your workforce is people with Down syndrome, or people with single mothers, or ex-convicts. These are the policies that you can put in place as preferential hiring policies. Okay, instead of allowing who you have you don't have such a preferential policies. So you have to state that clearly lah in some way in your constitution, or in your company profile, or at least in your website. You can also show commitment by at least contributing impact contribution to your business model. For example, you allocate 35% of your cost of production service, or directly or operational, must be made towards a beneficial group for the attainment of their social environmental mission. Example, this group is this group of people, they are collecting rubbish at the beach side. Okay, you are supporting their cause, so 35%, you are allocating 35% of their cost. That means you are donating 35% of cost of funding to their cost. Okay, so that means you need to state lah who you are supporting. Okay, so which there are quite a number of companies do so also. Okay, so meaning that's why you see there are some social enterprises that actually support other social enterprises. Okay, so of course this is a standard content lah that you need to prepare for your company background. Okay, even for if you are writing a proposal for activity grant, similarly they will ask you the same content. Even when we wrote for NGO grant for community impact projects, the same thing also came out. Okay, it's just that kalau impact project, because they are sometimes they fund NGO or social enterprise. If you're NGO, you need to show your NGO registration number. If you're social enterprise, you need to show your SSM registration number. Okay, so these are all the standard contents you need to prepare. Okay, so but then we want to look at the sector. What sectors that are most involved? What sectors social enterprises are most involved in? Currently, many are involved in education because if you ask anybody, education is key to changing a situation. Okay. And a lot of we call foundations, yayasan, okay, who are actually who actually fund education projects. For example, Yayasan Hasanah. Essentially, Yayasan Hasanah is one of the places that I actually want to apply. One day we want to apply. Either as an individual or as a project or something. To fund education projects. They like to fund education projects. They target orang asli. Okay. So each yayasan have their own targeted group that they want to study. That's why I say you must study the people that you want to ask money from. Okay. The other next one is environment and sustainability. Yes, this is also another group. Our NGO MRS was successful in getting SGP, UNDP SGP grant. I can't disclose the funding, the amount, but that project essentially coming from United Nations. So you see there are funds available. So there are also arts, culture and heritage. We have people from FTKW who can definitely, they are funding to preserve certain projects. We have Dr. Nas here who's going to be the speaker for the next session on the how to prepare the budgeting details and everything. Dr. Nas, is within the group led by Prof. Nick for a 500,000. Sorry, not 500,000. That is another project. He is very rich now. So if you want to find rich friend, you find Dr. Nas. So he have secured a Rebana Kerincing grant from the US Embassy worth 200,000 ringgit. So which is good money. This is to fund arts and culture and heritage. How to preserve the Rebana Kerincing punya culture. So there are funds for this kind of things. Okay, just that how we approach it. Surprisingly, healthcare is the least among the listed here, but maybe that has changed because of the current COVID situation. This survey was done in 2015 or 18, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, during that time, we had free healthcare. So that number reflects the time during that time. Maybe the support for healthcare has increased because of the current pandemic situation. So that's why you see, even for sectors, the support for the sectors changes over time. Okay. So let me announce. Actually, this one just announced by TNCPI. Outgoing Prof. Arham. We are planning to start our own foundation, yayasan. I'm taking the initiative here to announce to all of us, okay, that the Rising Star Group, I think in our presentation here, Dr. Boon and Dr. Su is the new members of the Rising Star recipient, and I'm the alumni. We are required to actually raise funds for the yayasan, for the new yayasan. The name has not been established, have not been clearly determined, but I think it's going to be Yayasan Rising Star. I don't know if it's going to be Yayasan Bintang Naik ke apa kan. I'm not sure, but atau Bintang Bersinar ke. But it's a very good cause. This is something that I'm passionate with for Prof. Arham here. If since it's already been announced, so I'm actually going to donate because we are tasked to find donation for this Rising Star Foundation. I am announcing that for my next this consultation that I'm about to secure, which is around RM2,000 only. I am donating the cause, the funding from that cause to our Rising Star Yayasan. So I hope with this startup that my other members here and other lecturers here would join the cause and support this yayasan that our TNCPI is keen to start. And it's a very good cause. We have yet to decide which group that we are planning to focus on, but it's going. I believe it is something that we have emotions where we hold heart to it. So I am.
Saya ni sangat beri saya pada saya rasa sangat teruja kerana ini merupakan pengalaman baru saya melibatkan diri dalam bisnes bisnes teaching.
Accreditation ni saya kita buat dan membuat perubahan terhadap sesuatu dia memberi impak dan aspek
Saya ni sangat beri saya pada saya rasa sangat teruja kerana ini merupakan pengalaman baru saya melibatkan diri dalam bisnes bisnes teaching.
Accreditation ni saya kita buat dan membuat perubahan terhadap sesuatu dia memberi impak dan aspek lebih baik.
Dia ada satu produk so mungkin saudara Fahmi boleh ceritakan social innovation idea yang macam mana yang dicadangkan.
Okey, social innovation yang dicadangkan yang kami buat adalah Godus. Produk Godus ni adalah berkonsepkan kita nak bantu orang. Jadi kita ada dua konsep dia. Konsep yang pertama kita nak bantu masalah lambatkan buah. Yang kedua kita nak bantu orang dengan cara konsep yang dapat tu kita boleh salurkan bantuan secara berterusan.
Okey, terima kasih saudara Fahmi. So sebenarnya kita sebenarnya dalam proses untuk kita sertifikatkan beberapa kumpulan pelajar dan juga pensyarah dan juga kepakaran dalam bidang
amat dan bagus kerana kita dapat belajar sebagai ilmu baru dan juga kita dapat menolong orang-orang yang dalam kesusahan. Jadi saya harap jika ada lagi program seperti ini kita dapat sama-sama untuk